Let's talk about a type of drug that can totally rewire how your brain sees the world. We're talking about hallucinogens. These don't just mess with your mood, they can actually make you see, hear, or even feel things that are not there at all. They can change your reality from the inside out.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What would that be like? What if the signals coming into your brain just didn't match up with what was actually happening? That's the big question we're diving into because that feeling of losing control is exactly what makes these drugs so incredibly unpredictable and, frankly, so dangerous.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to talk about what it really means to lose your grip on reality. We'll look at 4 specific drugs and their unique dangers, unpack the risks that happen right away, and the ones that can stick around for a long time. And we'll wrap up with why this is all so critical for your brain's health.
So, how does this all go down? At its core, the whole experience with hallucinogens is built on a pretty terrifying idea. Your brain's entire communication system gets hijacked. It starts processing faulty signals and basically creates a whole new reality that just isn't real.
And that brings us to the key definition here. A hallucinogen isn't just about changing your mood. No, it actively causes hallucinations. This means you might see colors or shapes that aren't there, you might hear voices, or feel bizarre things like you're floating. And all the while, you're left totally disoriented, trying to figure out what's real and what isn't. So how do they pull this off? Well, they go straight for your central nervous system and just throw your brain's most important jobs into complete chaos. All of a sudden, how you see the world, how you feel, your ability to think clearly, and your power to make good decisions, it's all scrambled at the same time. And when that happens, a person's behavior can become completely and dangerously unpredictable. Okay, let's get a little more specific. We're going to look at 4 of the most common hallucinogens. And while they all warp reality, it is so important to understand that each one brings its own special brand of danger to the table. So first you've got LSD, or acid. It often comes on little paper tabs, and it's famous for causing these terrifying bad trips. Then you have psilocybin mushrooms. With these, besides the trip, there's a huge risk of accidentally eating a poisonous mushroom that looks just like it. Next is mescaline from the peyote cactus, which can cause some really intense physical reactions like a racing heart. But the one we really got to focus on is PCP, also known as angel dust. Seriously, this one is in a league of its own. It's known to cause extreme aggression, violence, and long-lasting psychosis, which makes it one of the absolute most dangerous of the bunch. Now, beyond the specific drug, there are some universal dangers that can happen right away, like during the experience itself. These aren't some far-off possibility. These risks are immediate, and they can be absolutely terrifying. The most famous immediate risk is what people call a bad trip. And let's be really clear, this is not just feeling a little bit anxious. This is a state of pure drug-induced terror, where you feel like you have completely 100% lost control of your own mind. And that terror, it's not just one single feeling. It's this awful cocktail of overwhelming panic, intense paranoia like something horrible is about to happen, and a total inability to tell the difference between what's real and what the drug is making up inside your head. And here is the part that is just so frightening. A bad trip can last for up to 12 hours. Can you imagine that? Being trapped in a state of pure fear and paranoia for half a day with no off switch? It's an unbelievably long and grueling experience. But the risks don't just magically vanish when the drug wears off. Nope. The whole experience can leave behind serious, long-term issues that can affect a person's life for months or even years to come. You can kind of see how the immediate problems can plant the seeds for long-term ones, right? Those panic attacks from a bad trip can turn into a lasting anxiety disorder. The confusion can lead to real memory problems. And one of the most bizarre long-term effects is the experience of flashbacks. Yeah, there's a clinical term for it, hallucinogen persisting perception disorder, or HPPD. This is a real, recognized condition where someone keeps seeing things or having visual distortions long after they've stopped using the drug. It's like parts of the trip can just come roaring back without any warning, which, as you can imagine, is incredibly distressing. Now, look, these risks are real for anyone, but they are especially dangerous for teenagers. And that's because the teenage brain is in this really unique and really vulnerable stage of its development. Think about it this way. Your brain is basically under construction until you're in your mid-20s.
The parts that control your judgment, your emotions, your decision-making, they're still being built and wired together. Throwing powerful, reality-bending chemicals into the mix during that critical time can seriously mess up that whole natural process.
So, choosing to stay away from these substances, it's not about missing out on something. It's actually a powerful choice to protect yourself. It's about staying in control, protecting your brain while it grows, steering clear of serious mental health issues, and honestly, just keeping your life and all your goals on the right track. And that brings us to our last, and maybe our most important section. Knowing all the risks is one thing, but knowing how to protect yourself and where to turn for help, well, that's where the real power is. It boils down to 3 really clear steps. First, stay in control of your choices. If you ever feel pressured, just remember what's on the line: your brain and your future. They're worth protecting. Second, speak up. If you're worried about yourself or even a friend, talk to an adult you trust. And third, be there for your friends. If you see someone struggling, encourage them to get help. That's what a true friend does. And really, that's the bottom line. Hallucinogens might promise some kind of wild, mind-bending experience, but the potential cost to your mind, to your health, to everything is just way too high. The most powerful choice you have is to protect your brain. And by doing that, you protect your entire future.